Section 68 of the Divine Comedy by Dante Alighieri, translated by Courtney Langdon. This Librivox recording is in the public domain. Paradiso, Canto 1. Introduction to the Paradiso. Invocation of Apollo. Ascent through the sphere of fire. The order of the universe.
The glory of him who moveth everything penetrates all the universe, and shines more brightly in one part, and elsewhere less. Within the heaven which most receives his light I was, and saw what he who thence descends neither knows how, nor hath the power to tell. For as it draweth near to its desire, our intellect so deeply sinks therein, that recollection cannot follow it. As much, however, of the holy realm as in my memory I could treasure up, shall now become the subject of my song. O good Apollo, for my final task make me as worthy a vessel of thy power as thou dost ask for thy dear laurel's gift. One of Parnassus's peaks hath hitherto sufficed me, but with both of them I now must start upon the course which still remains. Enter my breast, and breathe thou as of old thou didst, when from the scabbard of his limbs thou drewest Marsyas forth. O power divine, if thou but lend thyself to me so much, that I may show the blessed kingdom's shadow which in my mind is stamped, to thy dear tree thou'lt see me come, and crown me with the leaves my theme and thou shall cause me to deserve. So seldom, Father, are there any picked to grace a Caesar's or a poet's triumph, the fault of human wills, and to their shame, that his Penean leaf should bring forth joy within the joyous Delphic deity, when for itself it causes one to thirst. A great flame follows from a little spark. Perhaps with better voices after me shall men so pray that Sirrah will reply. For mortal men the lantern of the world rises through diverse passes, but from that which with 3 crosses brings 4 rings together, it issues on a more propitious course, and in conjunction with a kinder star, and more in its own image moulds and seals the mundane wax. A pass almost like this had made it morning there and evening here. And all that hemisphere was white, and black the other side, when Beatrice I saw turned toward her left, and looking at the sun. No eagle ever gazed at it so keenly, and even as from the first a second ray is wont to come, and upward start again, as would a pilgrim longing to return, even so to her act, by mine eyes infused through my imagination, mine conformed, and on the sun I gazed beyond our wont. Much is permitted there which is not here allowed our faculties, thanks to the sight created as the human race's home. Not long did I endure it, nor so briefly as not to see it sparkle all around, as molten iron doth, when out of fire it issues boiling. Day then all at once seemed joined to day, as if the one who can had with another sun adorned the sky. With eyes fixed wholly on the eternal wheels stood Beatrice, and I on her fixed mine, from there above removed. Looking at her, I such became within as Glaucus did on tasting of the herb which in the sea made him a fellow of the other gods. Transhumanizing could not be expressed by words. Let this case, therefore, him suffice, for whom grace holds experience in reserve. If I, O love that rulest heaven, was only that part of me which thou didst last create, thou know'st that with thy light didst raise me up. When the rotation thou, by being longed for, dost make eternal, drew me to itself by harmonies distributed and tuned by thee, it seemed that so much of the sky was by the sun's flame set on fire, that rain nor river ever made so broad a lake. The newness of the sound and brilliant light kindled in me a wish to know their cause, never with so great keenness felt, when she, who saw me even as I behold myself, opened her mouth to calm my troubled mind, ere I did mine to question, and began.
With false imagining dost thou so dull thyself that thou perceivest not what else thou wouldst perceive if thou hadst thrown it off. Thou art not on earth, as thou dost think thyself, but lightning fleeing from its proper place ne'er ran as thou, that art thereto returning.
If I was by her little smiled out words of my first doubt relieved, Within a new one was I the more ensnared. I therefore said, already sated, I had found repose from great amazement, but I wonder now how I can these light elements transcend. Heaving thereat a pitying sigh, she turned her eyes upon me with the look a mother gives her delirious child, and then began.
All things, whate'er they be, an order have among themselves, and form this order is, which makes the universe resemble God. Therein exalted creatures see the trace of that eternal worth, which is the end for which the mentioned order is created. Within the ordered state whereof I speak, all natures have their place with different lots, as near to their source they are, or less, wherefore toward different ports they wend their way through the vast sea of being, which endowed with instinct granted it to bear it on. This instinct toward the moon impelleth fire. This is the motive force in mortal hearts. This binds together and unites the earth. Nor doth this bow impel those creatures only which lack intelligence, but those that have intelligence and love. The providence which ordereth all this, with its own light e'er calms the heaven, inside of which revolves the one that moveth with the greatest speed. And thither now, as to a place ordained, that bowstring's power is bearing us along, which to a glad mark speeds whate'er it shoots. 'Tis true that, as a form is frequently discordant with the intention of an art, because its matter in response is deaf, so likewise from this natural course at times a creature turns away, for power it hath, though thus impelled, to bend aside elsewhere, as one may see fire falling from a cloud, if by false pleasure drawn, that primal impulse turn it aside to earth. If well I judge, no further shouldst thou wonder at thy rising, than at a stream thou dost, which to its foot down from a lofty mountain's top descends. As great a marvel would it be in thee, if, rid of hindrance, thou hadst sat thee down, as rest on earth would in a living flame.
Then toward the sky she turned her face again.
End of Paradiso Canto 1.